How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Geeky Gentleman, the podcast for all your geeky needs, fashion, and lifestyle tips, all rolled into one perfectly packaged podcast. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you guys are still reeling from the saddening news of Chadwick Boseman's passing. Personally, I was gutted when I heard the news, and I'm sure that it's nothing compared to the pain and loss his family and friends must be feeling. His passing has left a hole in so many lives and has left Marvel in sort of a dilemma. What to do about TChalla in the MCU? That's today's topic on the Geeky Gentleman. Alrighty then, enough said, let's jump right into the podcast. Black Panther 2 is currently scheduled for a 2022 release date, with director Ryan Coogler returning as well. After the huge success of Black Panther, Marvel was poised to continue the trend before the devastating news of Chadwick Boseman's death. Without the lead actor who brought the character of T'Challa to life, Marvel has a few choices on the table on how to continue the story of Black Panther. Recast T'Challa. Now don't freak out when I say this, hear me out. Chadwick Boseman was the perfect T'Challa, hands down, no comparisons, you had the perfect T'Challa. And we also have to remember that T'Challa is a major player in the MCU. With Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow already out of the core Avengers, Marvel was moving T'Challa front and center. With his popularity, it was all but guaranteed that we would be seeing a lot more of T'Challa in the future MCU films. A lot more. We know that Marvel plans their films ahead of time to make sure plot threads are far-reaching across multiple films. T'Challa is one of the main characters to carry the next era of the Avengers. Just off the top of my head, we would have T'Challa in 2 more Black Panther films. He would have been possibly in the next 3 Avenger team-up films. And the character has a prominent tie to the X-Men character of Storm, which is hugely important as we know that Marvel is planning to bring the X-Men into the MCU in one way or another. With a character like T'Challa, it would be such a waste to lose an important character that many people have come to love and respect. Of course, there are plenty of people out there thinking that to recast T'Challa would be a dishonor to Chadwick Boseman, and I personally think that they are wrong. Yes, it is sad. It is extremely sad. It's a tragedy, and he's gone. But to lose such an influential and inspirational character as T'Challa, I think would be a larger disrespect to the character and what he means to so many people in the world. I don't think Boseman would have wanted the world to lose T'Challa. Bear in mind, with COVID already pushing back film release dates and Disney having to recast, if they do decide to go down that route, we'll be lucky to get a Black Panther 2 in 2022. That's already 2 years away. If Marvel has to push things back even further and move some films around, it might not be until 2023 until we get a Black Panther sequel. I think by then the world will be ready to see the character of T'Challa rise up again, even if he's played by someone else. Pass on the mantle of Black Panther. I think it has always been Marvel's plan to have Shuri eventually become Black Panther. It happened in the comic books, and Marvel's long game has always been to replace the main Avengers with new faces. We have Sam Wilson carry on the mantle of Captain America, Yelena's going to carry on for Black Widow, Kate Bishop is going to pop in and carry on for Hawkeye, Jennifer Walters will carry on for the Hulk, and Jane Foster is carrying on for Thor. It makes complete sense that they would have Shuri assume the mantle of Black Panther after T'Challa. I think Marvel had plans for Shuri taking on the mantle of Black Panther well after the character of T'Challa had his 3 solo films and the Avenger team-up films. Obviously, because of the passing of Chadwick, this might happen earlier than planned. Marvel could possibly have T'Challa die off-screen and Shuri take on the mantle of Black Panther in Black Panther 2. But that would result in the loss of so much rich storytelling the character of T'Challa brings into the MCU. Or, they could continue with their original plan by having the role of T'Challa recast as soon as Black Panther 2 and Shuri become Black Panther after the original trilogy and team-up films. But there is a third option, and I think it might be a good way for Marvel to buy more time to let people mourn the loss of Chadwick Boseman. Marvel could have Shuri take on the mantle of Black Panther in Black Panther 2. Not because T'Challa is dead, but because he's otherwise preoccupied somewhere else in the world. I mean, he could be off somewhere in Kenya helping an old friend, which would be a great Easter egg for Storm, or he could have mysteriously disappeared, which could also be a good Easter egg leading up to the Secret Invasion storyline. The main point here, though, is that the character of T'Challa is alive and well, but we won't see him at all in Black Panther 2. This way, Marvel is pushing back the newly cast role of T'Challa until Black Panther 3, which would probably come out, Black Panther came out in 2018, the sequel is scheduled for 2022, so another 4 years would be 2026. That would give the world plenty enough time to get used to the fact that T'Challa won't be played by Chadwick Boseman. This way, we get Shuri as Black Panther earlier than planned, but then the character of T'Challa returns to finish off the original plot threads planned throughout the next phase of the MCU. Once finished, Shuri would have become a much more experienced fighter and will once again don on the mantle of Black Panther after her brother. Reboot the franchise. Now, I don't think this is even being considered at all because of the sheer fact of how popular the Black Panther film is. With so much rich talent in that film, it would be an incredible waste to lose all those perfectly casted actors just to reboot a franchise for one character. I don't see this happening. I don't want it happening. Personally, I want the character of T'Challa to live on. With an extreme lack of racial diversity in the MCU, I don't think Marvel should let the character of T'Challa disappear off screen. Chadwick brought such a warmth and regalness to the character of T'Challa, and I will always remember him for it. But the character of T'Challa is much bigger than Chadwick now, and we can thank Chadwick for that. Of course, it's sad, and I'm gonna miss Chadwick, and I'm gonna miss him so much as Black Panther, but taking the emotion out of the equation, the character of T'Challa has so much more to bring into the MCU, and as one of the few main racially diverse characters in the MCU, we need him to stay. I would be completely okay with Shuri taking on the mantle of Black Panther earlier than planned, just for Marvel to buy more time as they choose the correct actor to take the place of T'Challa. But I do think the character of T'Challa is too important to the MCU and the world to lose. Wakanda forever, guys. And there you have it, gentlemen. Some food for thought as we wait to hear on the official announcement from Marvel in regards to the character of T'Challa in the MCU. Thank you so much again for listening to another episode of The Geeky Gentleman. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast. That will always make me happy. Feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram. I'm @DriftingDecal. I'd love to hear if you'd like to see T'Challa recasted or not. If you want more content from me, feel free to visit my blog at www.driftingdudes.com. And until our next podcast adventure, I will talk at you guys later. Bye.